Tucker Carlson is getting a lot of backlash from his previously loyal viewers because he told the truth about the Trump campaign and how it has failed to provide any evidence of what they claim, widespread voter fraud. Now, of course, Donald Trump has still refused to concede to Joe Biden, the president-elect, the person who actually won in the general election. And at first, Tucker Carlson went along with that narrative. But he did eventually invite Sidney Powell to his show to talk about the allegations of widespread voter fraud, allegations of how voting machines allegedly changed the votes from Trump to Biden. That was one of the allegations she made. And later it turned out that she was unwilling and refusing to provide any evidence, and Tucker Carlson didn't have her on. Now, before I get to his reasoning in the segment that he did on this, which led to a lot of backlash, I think it's important for you guys to get a sense of who Sidney Powell is and some of the unhinged accusations she made during a press conference this week. Watch.
The Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion, were created in Venezuela at the direction of Hugo Chavez to make sure he never lost an election after one constitutional referendum came out the way he did not want it to come out. We have one very strong witness who has explained how it all works. He was with Hugo Chavez while he was being briefed on how it worked. He was with Hugo Chavez when he saw it operate to make sure the election came out his way. That was the express purpose for creating this software.
Just bananas, just absolute bananas, insane, okay? So she's talking about the Dominion machines. All of these allegations have already been debunked. All Republicans need to do, all conservatives need to do is take something that they consider scary and connect it to whatever it is that they're trying to scaremonger about at any given moment. In this case, it's Venezuela. And that's it. People will fall for it. It's just so pathetic and sad. And so Aida, I want to get your thoughts on what she had to say, and then we'll play Tucker Carlson's response to all of this.
I mean, I have to say what you just said. It's like, we know the talking points: Venezuela, communism, socialism. They're trying to take away our freedom. They're trying to take away our freedom, and they're trying to protect our freedom by taking away our freedom, which I think is really funny. But it's, I just sit here and all I do is watch these people and just add one more person to the list that is complicit in the dismantling of our political process, our democracy, and the system in just because they're greedy. Or they're greedy for money, or greedy for power, greedy for position. And this woman here is just an example of that. To go that far, to say, some of the things that have been said, and listen, you won't talk about Ivanka and the election with the voter machines in China and all that. Because if you go online all day long, you got. Everybody has all these things to tell you why this election was corrupt. I just want to know where all these people were when Hillary Clinton said she won the election, right? Where were them 4 years ago? Why, if this is really about the process and not about this particular candidate, it's really about the process being flawed. Why y'all didn't speak up 4 years ago?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It is pretty amazing. Like they're specifically saying that there's voter fraud in the areas that overwhelmingly voted for Joe Biden, but no voter fraud at all in the areas that voted predominantly for Donald Trump. And look, I mean, their Dominion machines are being accused of socialism. And if the founders of Dominion just refuse to support defund the police, then maybe Republicans wouldn't accuse them of being socialists. It's all I'm saying. No, I'm just kidding. That's a reference to a different story. I couldn't help myself. If you got it, you got it. If you didn't, it's okay. Let's just move on. Here's how Tucker Carlson ended up not having that lunatic on his show and what led to backlash.
For more than a week, Powell has been all over conservative media with the following story. This election was stolen by a collection of international leftists who manipulated vote tabulating software in order to flip millions of votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. On Sunday night, we texted her after watching one of her segments. What Powell was describing would amount to the single greatest crime in American history. Millions of votes stolen in a day. Democracy destroyed. The end of our centuries-old system of self-government. Not a small thing. After 4 years, this may be the single most open-minded show on television. We literally do UFO segments, not because we're crazy or had even been interested in the subject, but because there is evidence that UFOs are real and everyone lies about it. We took Sidney Powell seriously. We had no intention of fighting with her. We've always respected her work. We simply wanted to see the details. How could you not want to see them? So we invited Sidney Powell on the show. We would have given her the whole hour. We would have given her the entire week, actually, and listened quietly the whole time at rapt attention. That's a big story. But she never sent us any evidence, despite a lot of requests, polite requests, not a page. When we kept pressing, she got angry and told us to stop contacting her. When we checked with others around the Trump campaign, people in positions of authority, they told us Powell has never given them any evidence either, nor did she provide any today at the press conference.
And this keeps happening, right? They keep saying, no, there's vote. They have these press conferences and they're like, we have the evidence, we have the evidence, we have the affidavits, right? And then everyone will be like, okay, great. Can we see the evidence then? Where's the evidence? And they'll be like, we can't show you. So yeah, like you can't just make these insane allegations and then refuse to provide any evidence. And that's what Tucker Carlson is saying there. One of the rare moments where he's reasonable and not delusional and absolutely hateful. And you should have seen the reaction to that segment. I mean, he was still trending on Twitter this morning, and it was all conservative check marks, blue check marks, just going after him as like this. Lou Dobbs, like people that like he works with were accusing him of horrendous things like treason, for instance. I saw treason used quite a bit by blue check marks. No, treason is trying to dismantle our democratic process and destroy what's left of democracy in this country. Anyway.
Oh, Tucker. You know, I like calling him Tucker. It's so funny because Tucker Carlson, when I watched him speak at Politicon, was very, very interesting to hear speak. But good for him. Good for him that he has. You know, I think that some people realize that this has been a very sensational story to cover for the last 4 years because it keeps you trending and it keeps you going. But at some point you're like, they're really trying to dismantle our democracy.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know if I can be, I'm not down with that. And I think
Tucker wants to run eventually, right? So you can't run if you're living in a dictatorship. So I don't know if he's doing it to be principled or if he's doing it out of self-interest. But to be quite honest with you, regardless of what his intentions are, it's the same reaction that we had to the Republican senators who were speaking out against Trump. You don't get brownie points for doing your job. So Tucker Carlson presents himself as a news guy, as someone who's delivering the news and the facts to the American people. Okay, you don't get brownie points for actually doing that once in a while. It would be far more impressive if he did it on a regular basis.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.